All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome back. How we doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Looking like a beautiful day out there, man. Got the mic working today. All right, great, perfect. Check, check. Happy Tuesday. That's right. Happy Tuesday. What's up, Margin? What's going on, everyone? Broadcom, man. What a stock. What's my average on Broadcom? Broadcom, you guys know if you've come to this live stream ever, that's the baby right there. Broadcom, we always talk about that being the best stock on the stock market. I truly think it is. Now Google's starting to take the reins, but I still think Broadcom is just... Cost basis on Broadcom, $139. Let's see if I can get that to... There it is. 139. Wish I had more, but that's good stuff. Love it. Welcome back, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, yeah, I forgot about the giveaway. That's right. All right, we'll do the giveaway today. Sorry about that. Totally forgot. Some of you just come here for the giveaway, huh? Just kidding. No, you're right. I owe you a giveaway. All right. Yesterday, beautiful day. Nice, clean, concise, disciplined. Ever since, I don't know if for you guys that are in the group, ever since I started putting that P&L, so now since our 3-day event, I now put my actual P&L on the screen. I live stream the actual P&L. And you know what, man? It's made me a lot more disciplined because, there's no like hiding drawdown. There's no, it's right there for everyone to see, and it keeps me a little bit more disciplined, man. So I've enjoyed it. Ever since I've done that, I have really just felt that pressure of people watching, which has actually helped me take better trades. And it's actually a really interesting concept because in trading, there's no boss, right? There's no one to stop you from doing something stupid. You're answering to yourself. So when you start throwing in random trades in your portfolio, you got, no one's there to say, man, what are you doing? It's just you that's saying, sure, let's just do it, right? Let's send it. I don't care, right? But when you got, a couple thousand people watching you, it's like, all right, let me not be an idiot right now, and let me, really make sure that, what I'm putting on is the right position. So I don't know. It just helped me. It's a little psychological trick that has helped me quite a bit so far. So I'm going to keep doing that. Really good trading lately. Really disciplined. Nice setups yesterday. AMD, SPY, and Tesla. Tesla should have been a win. Just a little bit of poor management on my part there, but a great idea and a great thesis. So for me, yesterday was a 3 for 3. Put on some risk yesterday. I'll hold off on telling you what I did. People in the group know what I put on. So put on some risk yesterday. You'll probably be able to tell by what I talk about today. But yeah, put on some leaps. Bought some more shares. Bought about $50,000 worth of shares yesterday. The combination of leaps and shares about $50,000. 2027 leaps, so a full year and 2 months from today, and shares of a few names that I really like. So bought some dips. There's a reason for it. I'll talk about it again today, why I think the market has bottomed into end of year. I can't tell you that it's bottom forever, but I think there is a bottom here into end of year, and I will explain to you why. And I put my own money on it. You don't have to. Don't take it from me. This is not financial advice. I am very comfortable with the risk that I've put on. It is not my life savings. It is a portion of my cash balance that I have been stacking up for this entire year. I have not bought stocks this entire year. I haven't. Very rarely. I bought Oklo. I bought Oklo a few months ago. I bought MP, and that was it. Everything else has just been what I've had from previous years. So this is pretty much my first share purchase of the year, my first significant share purchase of the year. So yeah, that is my move. So let's jump into it. NASDAQ futures. Let me get the charts pulled up, and here we go. Mic is working. Yes, it is. Okay, great. I love this portable mic because I can sit back. This is nice. John, appreciate that, John. Thank you, brother. Thanks for joining the coffee fund. Actually, some developments in the coffee fund. Developments in the coffee yesterday. Had a nice meeting about that. So it's moving. We're getting there. I wasn't doing the weekly buys this year. I'm starting it now. I'm restarting them. House, man. It's how it is, Matt, I've had other things in my life that have taken precedent than investing my cash. Building a home, building a custom home, and that has been, just one of those things in life, So I've backed off the investing to, make sure I'm cash heavy for any kind of, home expenditures during this build. But I've reached a point where, I'm comfortable to start to part ways with some cash, so to say. Am I going to be in the No, margin. It's going to be mentorship as usual. All right. NASDAQ futures. So here's why I think that you have seen the market at least find a low into November, and we'll see, right? We'll see if I'm right. But this is, sort of putting where my money where my mouth is here, and I'll talk to you about it now. So daily chart. Actually, let's go monthly chart. Monthly chart, NASDAQ futures. Let me bring you out to the monthly. Right here. Here's your monthly chart. Every candle on this chart is 1 month of time. You have a July high, you have an August high, and you have an October low. That is between 23,845 and 25,158. Between that zone, those are 3 monthly major levels. You have July high, August high, October low. If you guys go to the short-term time frames, you can see that that is the exact level that we have seen a very strong bounce off of, and that will likely be the low of November, right? So now you have a low of November here on top of an October low, a July low, and an July high and an August high. So you have another major monthly level that is going to establish itself. That's going to now be pretty much right here, your November low. So you now have a October low, August high, and July high, and November low, 4 months at this key inflection point. That, to me, after a 10% pullback on this market and strength on some, this Google news and this Google outperformance and sort of the, some excitement around that AI war, that's enough for me to buy some shares, for sure. Again, what you need to realize here is I am not buying 0 DTE contracts on the SPX with $100,000 hoping that the market goes up today. That is not the game plan. The game plan is 10% down on the market into these monthly levels, buy some shares. If it goes lower, buy more, right? So that's the game. The game plan is very much a year out, a year plus. It is not, today, tomorrow, and, we have to low here. If we go lower than here, then I, look for that next share purchase. But this is just a starter of a share purchase because of these monthly levels. With the anticipation that we close strong into end of year after this pullback. That's at least my anticipation. That's what I would like. However, I don't need that to happen buying shares and buying year out leaps. If I was buying next week contracts, then I would need that to happen. So you got to make sure you understand the difference here. I believe this could be a bottom, but I'm not positioning myself to where it has to be a bottom or I lose. All right, that is not how I'm positioning myself. I'm positioning myself with time and patience, not with, I need this to be the low or my options will expire worthless. That is not the position I want to be in. All right, that's the last position I want to be in here. So I really like this demand here. I like how we reacted off of it. I like the 100 SMA hold on the NASDAQ. I like the higher low potential here above these lows and these lows. Now, of course, I could be dead wrong. This market could fail again and move back to these lows, and that is very much a possibility. But with a year of time and shares, I am not too concerned about that. So I'm not buying anything short term off this read. I'm just sort of thinking, hey, this might be a good time to dip some toes. And so that's what I did yesterday. I dipped some toes in the water. Let's feel how the water is. Is the water warm? Let's see. So that's what that's my mindset right now in this market. I'm going to be very careful with that mindset to influence short-term trading, right? We need to make sure we pay attention to that being a long-term read, and it should not influence short-term trading. So all of those dip buys that I bought are in a different account. They are not in my daily options trading account. So I don't, focus on those as I trade my short-term contracts, right? So if there's a nice short today off this supply high back down into this low, I still want to be open to that, and I don't want those positions in my account to sort of bias me, create a bias in the short term. So you have to weigh the short-term volatility versus the long-term mindset, right? And that's sometimes very difficult, and that's why I sort of put everything in a separate account. I'll show you guys in the group today when we go live in our trading. So yeah, we'll see. All right, we'll see. So today, September highs 25,027. That was the level we had yesterday. You can see that is where we are failing here in the pre-market. I think the best look for the bulls today would be a pullback long back to the Friday highs right inside this zone. Pull back to this low, pull back to this low, pull back to this low, pull back to Friday's highs, give us one of these right here, and then create that higher low. So then you would have a low here, you'd have a higher low at the 100, and you have another higher low right here. If we can create these three higher lows right here, that would be very convincing that the market's trying to find some footing. If we fail right back under Friday's highs today, if we do something like this and fail back under, you are right back in that downtrend and nothing has changed. So something to pay attention to today, definitely for me, is do we hold this Friday high? Do we maintain the 24,600 level? That's huge to me. 24,600 and that 100 SMA will now be a very big focus for me moving forward, okay? If you can get over this supply high, you're going to the daily 50. If you get above the daily 50, you're going back to the Thursday high and the smackdown point at 25,300. All right. S&P 500, really nice higher low yesterday, exactly where we wanted it to happen. We talked about this 6,600 level. We saw a beautiful hold of that 6,600 Friday. We can see again, yesterday, we hold the 6,600 zone, we hold the daily 100, and we create that higher high on the market. Today, now, I'm going to be looking for these lows to turn into new lows, right? Higher lows, so right here, right here, right here, Friday's highs, and right here. Can we hold 66.55? Can we hold 66.77? Can we turn Friday's highs, these lows, and these lows into a higher low, right? Can we create that low, higher low situation, all right? So here's a low, here's an HL, higher low, here's another higher low that I'd like to see get established. Start to give me this type of stock market movement again, all right? Start to give me that higher lows type of action and try to get me back into this short-term uptrend and possibly start to find the lows off, again, that October and August level, right? Here's your October low. Here's your August high on the S&P 500 futures. 65.40 to 65.23, the exact lows that were created last week, right, after this big drop. So that's pretty nice. I like that hold there. I like the higher low over the 100, And now I want to see this continue to build over 66.55, 66.77. If we can do that, then I think you're looking for that 67.90 again, right? Daily 50, daily 20, 67.90 area. That would be sort of the idea. And again, we have to stay open to the fact that this could be another major smackdown. It's very possible. If you extend yourself to 67.90 before this retest, I would say that it is more likely that you do get something like this. Just so you are aware. If you extend yourself too much here, if there's another rip today, before you pull back and hold this demand, you might be a little frothy and you might need to give it back. So please be careful of that 67.90 above, 68.12. That's absolutely the major supply above still. SPY, perfect holds over the September highs this morning, and I'm shocked. I really am. If you guys remember 667.34, if you trade with me live, if you pay attention to the live streams, you should remember this level, 667.34. That was the exact high from this Wednesday of last week. This was a level we were watching on the 4-hour chart, which is right here. If I go to the 4-hour chart, right here, there's a September high that is right there. That's your September high right there. And this morning, you are perfectly holding above that level right here, 667.34. So that's pretty good. That's really good, actually. If you could hold that today, you're going to go higher. Now, I don't think you have to hold that, to be honest. I don't think you have to hold that to stay bullish here, but that would be the most bullish hold. I think it's very possible that you could still need a pullback to that Friday high. Friday high, these lows, these highs. If we get a pullback to this, I still think that's a quality look. And even down to, let me zoom out here. Even down to the 661.21 low, I still am very interested in that to hold, right? So looking at this 30-minute chart, you can see right here, right? Look at this major low right there, these lows right here, anywhere in that zone, Friday high, anywhere in here, I think is a great higher low in this market still. As long as you do not fail back under this low right here, I think this is still just fine as a higher low after holding this October low and August high, after holding the 100 SMA, all right? You bounced off the 100 SMA, you bounced off of 2 monthly levels, which will now be the November low as well. And so as long as you create those higher lows here, I'm still in the boat of this market finding some legs. So we'll see. That's what we're going to have to be paying attention to. QQQ, also the exact September high. Look at this, exact same level. September high on the Qs, September high on the SPY this morning. Look how crazy. September high, look at that low in the pre-market. Look at the QQQ. That is the exact September high as well at 602.87. If I go to the 4-hour chart, that is right here. Right there. 602.87, September high on the Qs, and that is the exact level that's holding in the pre-market. We still, of course, have the daily 50 above. We still have this major supply above at 612, 613, 614. So that's still absolutely a supply rejection possibility if we push higher, and would be somewhere I'm cautious of. Reclaiming this would put me even more, I mean, this would be the full confidence move right here. If we get a reclaim of the daily 20, if the market now starts to trade above the daily 20 again and turns these highs into new lows, that's where things get very, very interesting. So we are not out of the woods yet by any means. We are definitely, yeah, I mean, just 100% not out of the woods. There's nothing here that makes me think that we're out of the woods completely. This must break up here, but I am definitely intrigued by some share purchases. Let me reiterate that. Share purchases and 1-year leap purchases in this situation. Not, I am going to long the QQQ on Friday, Friday expiration calls, or Tuesday 0 DTEQ calls today, thinking that the market's going to go higher. That is not the situation that this is. So, have to stay open to the short-term volatility still. On the QQQ, here's some major lows, here's some Friday highs, and that's the higher low I'd really like to see established today. As long as you're above that, I'm comfortable. Let me zoom out. I'll show you some larger time frames. There's another major low here. If I go to the left, you can see right here. Major low, major low, major low, Friday high. As long as you hold this zone right here, for me, that is a higher low situation. All right, that would be the first higher low in this downtrend. So here, 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 if you can create this, I would be very confident that you are creating those higher lows. Again, October low, August high on the Qs, just like every other major name. SPY, October low, August highs. ES, October lows, August highs. NASDAQ, October lows, August highs, right? Every single market has held its October lows and August highs. Every single one. SPY, Qs, ES, NASDAQ, all holding. Also, every single one of them now trading off of their 100 SMA. It's getting interesting, right? It's getting interesting for the bigger picture. Is it interesting? You know, is it, hey, I'm all in. I'm going to put, you know, take a mortgage out of my house and hope that this is the bottom? Probably not. That's just too much risk. But it's very interesting. You know, these types of holds that we're starting to see, it's, you know, you're starting to get a whiff. You're getting a whiff. And we shall see. Right, we shall see. I'm not a, you know, I can't tell the future. I wish I could, but at a certain point, there is interest in putting risk on, right? That's why we're here. That's why we're traders. We put on risk in opportunistic environments. You know, I have to trust my analysis at the end of the day. You know, that's what I have done my entire trading career. I've trusted my analysis. I've lived with the decision, right? And I lived with the outcome. So that's what I'm doing again. And I'll either eat my words or I'll be very happy with my decisions here in a year from now. I am on the side of being happy with my decision from a year from now, right now. I'm very content. And I think that my decision here, when we're on this live stream on November 25th, 2026, I think we might look back and say, hey, that was a pretty nice 10% drop back in November of last year, huh? I'm on the side of that. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. So that's that. We have, what do we have? PPI data today, right? Economic data. We do have the PPI data today. PPI data and retail sales at 8:30. So we'll see what happens in about 7 minutes on this market. So we'll see how that moves the market. But let's continue. Let's go to the IWM. Has been a nice bounce, very strong bounce in the IWM. Very strong bounce right out of our demand zone that we've been looking at. Look at that. Beautiful bounce, man. Probably the strongest bounce out of anything. Right out of this demand. Previous highs. Nice little pivot area here. And look at that demand bounce off the IWM lows. So IWM starting to heat up as well. Bitcoin. I did buy some shares on IBIT yesterday. Probably the smallest purchase I made, just because I'm not, you know, I'm just not a, you know, I'm not a full Bitcoin bull. But hey, when it's down like this, I'll take a shot. I think if Bitcoin can get back above like this 88,600, if IBIT can get back above these lows right here around 50.2, 50.65, I think it could get interesting. So I dipped my toes in some IBIT shares. Again, shares, no options on IBIT for me. Just buying some shares of this one on this drop. We'll see what happens. So if the market gets risk on again, I would assume that Bitcoin finds some opportunity as well. Okay, so now what we need to talk about is the little AI war that's been going on, that sort of heated up yesterday with some Google news, Google Meta news, and we can see the underperformance on NVIDIA, and we can see the underperformance on AMD. So it sort of feels like, you know, there's some shift here, right? Broadcom, look at Broadcom, a leap that I bought yesterday as well. So Broadcom, Meta, and Broadcom, Meta, Microsoft are the three that I'm watching very closely. And I have decided pretty vividly, you guys have heard me talk about on this live stream, and it's starting to come true. I am not a fan of this stock anymore, as much as I once was. I talked about this yesterday. NVIDIA is a very weird stock lately. It's not as good as you really want it to be. Broadcom is absolutely ripping right now. TSM, I think, should be a beneficiary here of this news. Meta is a beneficiary here. And Google is obviously just absolutely insanity right now. And those moves on, and ASML is sort of strong this morning as well. But this move on Broadcom is, and I think Broadcom and TSM for me, you can see on the board behind me, I have 4 names: Google, Broadcom, Meta, TSM, right? Those are the 4 names on the whiteboard behind me. Those look to be the outperformers right now. NVIDIA, AMD do not look very good. And the smaller names like MRVL is all right. It's doing okay. It's very interesting to see which ones are weak today, because you can start to see which are the ones that are going to benefit or lose on this Google news, right? So you have ARM, which is not really going anywhere. MRVL is not doing anything. Qualcomm's sort of weak on this. AMD's very weak on this. NVIDIA's weak on this. What are the strong ones? Google, TSM, sort of. Broadcom is the main beneficiary of this move, just absolutely ripping today. So really interesting, right? Sort of changes the things that we're going to be looking at. WDC, the Western Digital, and SanDisk are also it's 2 names that are pretty extended this morning. Looks like they're getting some life from this news. MU looks like it's down off of it a little bit, so we'll see how it reacts. But right now, the 2 main losers look to be NVIDIA and AMD. And so NVIDIA will likely not be a stock that I trade for a very long time. I don't like it. I have been talking about this channel on NVIDIA being very difficult to read, and now this underperformance from this Google news is it's not really that inviting. So you can see NVIDIA has failed this 185 supply level. You can see right here, 185, 185, 185, and look at this failure again. So don't know where NVIDIA is going off this, but I can tell you one thing: it is not as strong. I would not trade NVIDIA when you look at something like this, right? Don't look at Broadcom today and say, oh, I should long NVIDIA because of Broadcom strength. That is not the truth anymore, okay? It's not. There's a snap, right? There has been a snap in the correlation to these semiconductor names, which is pretty interesting to watch what happens here. There has been a snap in the correlation, that's for sure. So we'll see. We'll see. But right now, SMH did have a nice day yesterday. I would like to see the SMH hold above this this low right here. I'm very curious to see how the SMH trades based off the decorrelation of the semiconductors. So let me go. I want to see what the weighting of the SMH is real quick. Okay, so the weighting of the SMH is heavily on NVIDIA. The second 2 largest are Broadcom and TSM. So you have about 20% of weighting in Broadcom and TSM. It's right here. So it's heavily weighted on NVIDIA. But look at TSM, Broadcom, ASML, Intel, MU down here at 5%, AMD down here at 5%. But you can see NVIDIA is the heaviest weight by a large margin. So I'm curious to see how the SMH responds, or how it trades moving forward with NVIDIA underperformance, but that Broadcom and TSM outperformance. Might be sort of pinned here, sort of a push and pull effect. But right here, 331, 333, I'd like to see this Friday high turn into new lows today. That's something I would be looking for. We'll see. We'll see. That's what I'm going to be watching, though. All right, we just got some economic data. We should have gotten economic data. Are we getting the data today? Okay, PPI, thank you, Derb. Appreciate that, Derb. We did get the data. So PPI 2.7, PPI slightly higher than the expectation in the forecast. Month over month is flat. Core PPI is slightly lower, so I mean pretty much just in line. Retail sales are slightly lower. 0.2 versus 0.4. There he is, Hamish. Appreciate that, Hamish. So retail sales 0.1% lower month over month. And it looks like PPI basically in line. So we'll see how the market reacts. Really no reaction as of right now. Really no reaction at all, actually. Okay. No reaction is fine to me there. All right, so let's go into AMD. AMD, maybe the gap fill is still alive here, guys. It looks like it might be. So again, let's just watch 203. Yeah, let's watch 203 today. Let's watch 203, which is that gap level. The gap fill is technically down to 170. I don't know if you're going to get a move to 170. You might if AMD really underperforms today or underperforms over the next few weeks to months. But under 203 is pretty weak. I would just be careful, again, my friends, of the traps under 203. Okay, so just a little bit of caution under 203. 195 is the low from last Friday. So if you do short AMD, be careful of Friday's lows at 195. And then under 195, be careful of the 186, which is also this 100 SMA. And then under that, you have your gap fill. So let's see, does AMD fail 203 today? It could be a nice watch, actually, if we do get that underperformance on the on AMD. So let's see, 203. Let's see what happens there. Okay. Let's go to Broadcom. So Broadcom, absolute monster. And I mean, it's just, Broadcom is an example of how it takes one day for stocks to go back to all-time highs, right? Broadcom was down just about, from its lows, about 14% off all-time highs. And it took one singular day for it to go back to all-time highs. So that's insane, okay? I mean, that's just, that shows you why DCA is, in my opinion, the best thing to do during downside markets, because you do not know when that one-day move is going to push us back to that all-time high level. You guys know this is how the market works, okay? If you cannot accept that, I don't know what to tell you. That's just a bias. We've seen that hundreds of times. It doesn't mean I don't know when it's going to happen, but I can tell you that the upside move after pullbacks is typically extremely quick, right? So how do you catch something like that? You can't time it. You cannot time it. We had this conversation with the mentorship group the other day. You can't time this pullback. You have to DCA the pullback if you want to be invested in the market. Now, you need to ask yourself a question, all right? Do you actually want to be invested in the market, all right? That's, no one's forcing you to invest, okay? No one. Not me, not anyone. You need to make the decision, do I want to invest in the stock market? I would assume that the 2,400 people that are here today probably are interested in investing in the stock market. So what would I do during downside moves in the market? I would DCA into a stock that you like, which is buying little over time, because you don't know when a stock like Broadcom goes straight back up into all-time highs. And here it is. All right, so really hard to now buy Broadcom, right? Now it's like, do I really want to buy Broadcom shares at this level? I mean, maybe, but you know, what an opportunity missed, you know, by not dollar cost averaging into some names. So great example of how this typically sets up. So Broadcom back to all-time highs. We'll see how it reacts today. I'm not going to touch it. I got the leaps, I got the shares, and hopefully it continues higher for me. But intraday trading for me, probably nothing. If we get a pullback to this 375, 370 level, then maybe I'll get interested in some short terms, right? If we get something like this, then I'd look for the short-term longs. But for now, welcome to all-time highs. And congratulations to Broadcom shareholders. Let's go to TSM. I think this is another one you want to keep an eye out for. Here's your daily chart on TSM if you guys have been paying attention. We've been talking about that 100 SMA and 270 level, which you can see held very strong on the daily chart here. I would like to see us over this daily high at 286. So if I'm looking at this hourly, I can see this 286 daily high is sort of a problem. If we can get over that 286 daily high, I think you can trade up into your daily 20, daily 50. But right now, you are still under that 286 supply. So for that, I would just set an alert, and I would wait to see if it goes over. That's pretty much it. MU, nice push yesterday. Gonna have to see how MU reacts to this Google news. But right now, I would just be watching this level right here. Can MU create a higher low at these lows right here? Right here, see this? So you had a left shoulder. Can you create that right shoulder and higher low here on MU? Right between the 216, 214 zone. So I would create an alert, set it at or below, and see if MU can hold that low today. That's something I would keep an eye out for. Okay. Those are really the only semis I'm interested in. TSM, MU, AMD, and Broadcom. Everything else not really interesting to me. Let's move on to Meta. So Meta is another stock that I have openly been buying shares of. You guys, I talked about this last week. And I think Meta comeback trade is one of the most interesting trades right now, to be honest. I think this is an opportunity that I would absolutely be watching. Meta is down 27% from its highs. So from high to low, 27% on the dot. That's a pretty nice haircut on Meta for some opportunistic moves. 27% down to this weekly demand. And yesterday, we did find that flip over the 603 weekly pivot. So we had that 603 weekly pivot that we were talking about. And yesterday, we did get above that 603 and had a very nice explosion to the upside. Now today, we can see that Meta continues to find strength here in the pre-market, up to 621 in the pre-market. Here's the lows, here's the lows, here's some highs, and now I would be looking to see if that 617.50 holds on today. If we can turn this 617.50 and this previous day high into some type of a new low, that would be very convincing for me to see Meta back up to 631. That is this sort of straight down move right here. I think if you can hold above that 617.50, that is a very nice watch up into that 631 level. So that is quite interesting, and this is another one that I've put on some risk on. Down in this demand area, I bought some at 650, I believe. I think it was like up here at 650. I bought some more down here, and I'll just continue to look to see if there's a Meta comeback trade. So Meta, watching this closely. News with Google yesterday, which I like as well. Yesterday, we had the news that, where is it? Meta Platforms. Meta reportedly is considering using Alphabet's custom chips for its data centers. Blah, 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 blah. So you have some Meta spark off that news right now. Okay? All right. So that's Meta. Apple, nice strength yesterday, but coming into that 277 supply, which is a very key rejection spot. I would like to see Apple turn a 272 higher low today. That would be what I'd look for on Apple. 272 higher low right here. Highs, 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 272, daily 20. Can we create that higher low there? That's something I'll be watching there. Amazon, sort of interested. It hasn't had that buzz like some other names, so it's been sort of quiet lately. But Amazon back into that daily 200. I would like to see if it can get back over 228 today. If Amazon can get back over 228, back over this daily 50, daily 100, that's sort of interesting. I would watch that. Yeah, gold, nice pop on gold. I was watching that this morning. 41.96, 4,200, absolutely a big spot today for gold. The Oklo, still, staying interested in the Oklo dip buy. This is a big pullback for Oklo down into this major daily demand. So keeping very close eyes on this one, 85.80. Keeping eyes on that. Palantir, this is another one that we've been watching off that major 150 demand. You can see it had a very nice day yesterday off that demand. However, Palantir has not broken above the level I need it to break above. You can see right here, previous lows. It did pop, but it's rejecting. So Palantir, not sure I'm ready yet for too much risk. So keep an eyes on it. I have an alert over yesterday's highs, but right now it is still failing. Hood, another one we've been watching for that comeback. Hood, nice pop yesterday. I would be looking to see if Hood can hold above this 111.70, 112.89 area. That's these lows and these lows right here. Can Hood create that higher low today above that Friday high as well? That's another spot you can watch. But I'd like to see this area turn into a support. So right in there. However, Hood's just not, these are not the first things I'm looking at today. But that is something I would be watching as well. How's Hood respond? APP, we've been talking about this daily 100. You can see that daily candle yesterday looking mighty fine now. Take a look at this daily chart. Major highs. Look at this area. Getting interesting. All right, getting interesting. So you can see we've been talking about APP here. These highs, look at these lows. Look at that break and retest. So is this where APP finds some nice holds? You can see for now it's definitely maintaining that 100 SMA. You can see we saw a nice day yesterday. I would like to see us over this 575 right here. If we can, sort of break out of this channel and create a higher low here, that would be sort of my watch right there. So keep an eye on APP on a daily basis. WDC, another stock that I've been watching very closely, Western Digital. We talked about that daily pullback to that 137 and daily 50, right? Remember we talked about this high and we said it will pull back to this high. It always pulls back to the retest. What did WDC do? Here's your highs. Here's your breakout. Where did it pull back to? Right back to the retest level. Perfect hold at the retest level. That's quite pretty. So today, I'm going to be looking to see, does WDC find some strength again, right? After holding these lows, can we maintain above these lows around this 146 level? If we can create a higher low above 146, that then gets interesting for the upside continuation. The other one, SanDisk, SNDK, if I can spell it. Nice pop. We'll see. I'm not the first one to run out there and buy SNDK, SanDisk, but there is a nice spot here. You can see this 229 spot or this pullback to 214. Those are two spots that I'd be watching. 229 or 214 would be sort of the retracement longs that I'd look for. Look for the retracement here or look for the retracement here. Looking at 229 or 214 on this one. Some honorable mentions. Netflix had a nice pop to end the day yesterday. I'm not even sure what the hell that was yesterday. If anyone knows, please let me know. It was 30 minutes before market close. I didn't see any news, so I'm not sure why the hell Netflix went straight up. But Netflix is playing around with this weekly high at 106.45. So you can see 106.45, you're sort of just sitting right at it. So Netflix sort of interesting lately. Keeping an eye on that one. Uber hit 82. Let me see. What is Uber? Oh, wow. What a pullback. Yeah, look at that. Uber. Oh, wow. Right at our level, 82. Yeah. Let's see. Interesting. Not sure I'm out there looking for Uber today, but I'm trying. You got to stay with the strong stuff right now, it seems. What's strong today? Right? Google strong. Meta. Nice strength on Meta. Broadcom's got some juice. All right? Let's keep an eye on some of these juicers and see what's strong in this Google news that's sort of developing as of right now. I think Meta is absolutely the top watch today because Google and Broadcom are absolutely, extended and straight up. Meta is nowhere near extended. Meta is down, all right? So I think Meta is my number one watch today by a large margin. And how could I forget good old Tessie? So Tesla, looks like it's taking a little hit right now. Is the market taking a little hit? Yeah, market's falling a little bit off that high. So Tesla yesterday created a nice little hold above that 414.50, 409.67 zone. So I would like to see if Tesla can maintain today above these previous lows. That's going to be my major watch today. Can Tesla turn these lows into support? That is very interesting today for me on Tesla. Yesterday on the live stream, we talked about the outperformance that we're seeing. We put the QQQ over the Tesla chart. We talked about how Tesla's been outperforming the market on the pullback and at, vertical higher yesterday. So that outperformance definitely came true. I would love to see Tesla try to fight its way back over this 409.67, these lows here, and this 414.50 2021 highs. If we can find some type of a support inside of this zone today, if we can turn this area into a nice higher low, I think Tesla is working its way back. So we'll see. This is going to be something I closely watch today. Nice holds over that 414.50 yesterday. Can we maintain it again today? Do we need to move maybe a little bit lower? But I am definitely keeping eyes on Tesla over the coming days, weeks to months to see if it can start to build back from this. It's a pretty nice looking weekly chart as well. If you take a look at this weekly chart, that weekly chart, nice pullback back into these highs, right? Starting to try to curl higher. keeping an eye on, and Tesla's been sort of on a relative outperformance move. Can it start to build? We shall see. Some news yesterday on Tesla as well about semiconductors, about chips, Tesla chips. You guys saw it. I'm not going to try to find it. Tesla, where is it? Tesla AI chip software. You guys can look it up. I'm not going to. Oh, Tesla stock pops as Musk talks up its AI chip business. So I'm not sure, how that plays out, but there is a little bit of a spark there as well. It looks like you got, is Tesla going down because of this NEO news? Yeah, sort of, not really. Okay. Yeah, there's your 414.50 again. Look at that. Interesting. Okay. So that's the day. Let's see what happens. Top watches today for me, Meta. Definitely keep eyes on this one. It's going up as the market goes down, so super strong outperformance on this one today. Broadcom, we'll see if we can find an entry. Google, of course, let's keep watching this thing. Absolutely nutty move. Warren Buffett wins again, I guess. And that's about it. AMD, we'll look for the under. Oof, okay. Oof, oof, oof. Can we get a little bit of AMD downside? Oh, man, look at that 203 rejection. Can you just wait for me? Damn. Okay. So AMD, NVIDIA, super weak versus markets, versus other semis. Yeah, and we might get the full gap fill here. Okay, so let's do the giveaway real quick. Let's go to, what do I need? What is it in? It's in type form. Okay. Let me log in. I'm on the wrong account. Hold on. Bear with me. Oh. Before we do that, Black Friday sale has gone live for TradeZella. So go down to the link in the description below. Use code BF. BF. The pre-sale is over. The Black Friday deal is live. So code BF on TradeZella. Go to the link in the description if you guys want to take advantage of that. Now, let's do the giveaway. $50 merch gift card to the Insiders merch store. Attendance form. Results. If you guys could, please press that like button. I'd appreciate that. So we're gonna go from last Monday to today because we didn't pick from last Monday. So let me get this going. We're gonna do the old close your eyes and pick method today. I'm just gonna populate all of the names here. Bear with me. All right, that's all the names right there. Here we go. Okay, closing the eyes, looking away, down, up. We're gonna try to go, I think we go for one in the middle today. I think like right around here maybe. Like, is this the middle maybe? Right there. Toshia Smith. Toshia Smith. That is our winner today. Toshia Smith. I will shoot you an email. Toshia Smith. All right. Very nice. That's our winner. That's our giveaway winner. Toshia Smith. I'm going to email you now. All right. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Good luck out there. I will see you tomorrow. And remember, market close Thursday. Press that like button before you head out if you could. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace and love.